From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 22nd, 2023. We open with Israel's cabinet last night voting to approve an agreement for the release of some of the hostages that have been held captive in Gaza since the October 7th massacre committed by terror group Hamas 47 days ago. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office stated last night the government of Israel is obligated to return home all of the hostages. Tonight, the government has approved the outline of the first stage of achieving this goal, according to which at least 50 hostages, women and children, will be released over 4 days, during which a pause in the fighting will be held. The release of every additional 10 hostages, the Prime Minister's office said, will result in 1 additional day in the pause, saying the government of Israel, the IDF, and the security services will continue the war in order to return home all of the hostages, complete the elimination of Hamas, and ensure that there will be no new threat to the state of Israel from Gaza. There are reports that that first pause in fighting could begin tomorrow, Thursday. The statement from the Prime Minister's office did not give further details on the agreement, but it is being reported by Israeli media that Israel will release some 150 Palestinian security prisoners held currently in Israeli prisons in return for the 50 hostages. Those prisoners being minors and women without blood on their hands, meaning they did not commit murder. The IDF continues its ground operations in Gaza until that pause in fighting goes into effect, today naming 2 more casualties. They are 21-year-old Staff Sergeant Eitan Dov Rosenzweig and 25-year-old Captain Liron Sneer. IDF International spokesperson Daniel Hagari, in an update earlier today on the ground operation in Gaza, said so far the forces have uncovered and destroyed about 400 tunnel shafts. Also noting an IDF operation on Hamas headquarters where the organization's senior officials live, and the capturing of a Hamas outpost. On Israel's northern border, IDF warplanes, it said, attacked several terrorist targets of terror group Hezbollah in Lebanese territory. And in the area of Israel's southernmost city, the IDF said, following a warning about the infiltration of a hostile aircraft in the area of the city of Eilat, an Air Force fighter jet successfully intercepted a cruise missile that was launched towards Israeli territory, saying that the threat did not penetrate the territory of Israel. And bringing you now response from Israel and from the United States to the announced hostage release deal. Israel's President Isaac Herzog said the deal was painful and difficult, but he said, "This is a moral and ethical obligation that correctly expresses the Jewish and Israeli value of redeeming captives, and I hope that it will be a significant first step to return all the abductees home." The state of Israel, the IDF, and the security forces will continue, he said, to act in every way to achieve this goal, alongside the restoration of absolute security for the citizens of Israel. U.S. President Joe Biden said, "I welcome the deal to secure the release of hostages taken by Hamas during its brutal assault against Israel on October the 7th. He said, "I am extraordinarily gratified that some of these brave souls who have endured weeks of captivity and an unspeakable ordeal will be reunited with their families once this deal is fully implemented." Biden thanking Qatar and Egypt for, he said, their critical leadership and partnership in reaching this deal. And he said, "I appreciate the commitment that Prime Minister Netanyahu and his government have made in supporting an extended pause to ensure this deal can be fully carried out." Biden said the deal should bring home additional American hostages, adding, "I will not stop until they are all released." Jewish organizations welcomed the hostage release agreement while also urging the release of all those held captive in Gaza. World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder said this development, while a significant milestone, reminds us of the persistent challenges we face and the continuous work needed to achieve these goals and to bring the remaining hostages home from captivity. The American Jewish Committee said the work to free every hostage, irrespective of age, gender, or nationality, cannot stop. The global community must continue efforts to ensure that every single hostage will be reunited with their loved ones and ensure that this humanitarian issue remains at the forefront of all global efforts in the region. B'nai B'rith International said all those involved in enabling this hostage release must remain duty-bound to ensure the swift, unconditional release of all the remaining hostages held in atrocious conditions by Hamas and its collaborators. The Anti-Defamation League echoing the sentiment, saying we must bring them home, all of them. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, November the 22nd. At 7 o'clock, Jeffrey Gurock discusses his book, Marty Glickman, The Life of an American Jewish Sports Legend. At 8, David Harris speaks with Abigail Pogrebin on a number of issues. At 8:30, Harris speaks with Mazi Melesa Pilip, the first Ethiopian-born Jew to hold office in the U.S., to discuss being an outspoken pro-Israel elected official. At 9, historian David Dalin is on L'chaim. At 10:30, Arthur Smith talks about his book, Reach. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 22nd, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. I will be back with the news on Monday. Wishing you a happy Thanksgiving, an early Shabbat Shalom. Am Yisrael Chai.